Hey guys, your boy Sean Bell. We back with you another episode of Jack of All Plays. This is episode 4 of Jack of All Plays, where I record every Sunday and I cover football, basketball, and baseball news that I want to cover throughout the week. So let's start you guys in the NBA. Get right into it. Got my tablet right here. The Boston Celtics head coach Ime Udoka, hopefully I said his name right, was suspended for the entire 22-23 season. Now, the reason why the head coach of the Boston Celtics did suspend the head coach for the 2022-2023 season was after news got out that he was having an alleged affair with a female team staff member, basically in the Celtics organization. According to reports, Udoka had an improper, intimate relation with a female member, and it was deemed a violation of the Celtics code of conduct. More details came out that Udoka allegedly made unwanted comments to the female staffer, and some Celtics executives found out about the relationship in July. So when this news first came out this week, a lot of people, including myself, was wondering why this was really, because obviously it's going to become public sooner or later, but it was weird when it first came out because the Celtics at first didn't even release the entire details of the information. It's like they was releasing stuff day by day, and it's about stuff they already knew about. Because, like I said, throughout the week, people found out this was a relationship that the Celtics knew about in July. But once stuff came out that this woman, this unnamed Celtics staff member, woman on their organization, said that Udoka, the head coach, made unwanted comments towards her. Now you're kind of pushing this into the limelight of, is this sexual harassment or inappropriate behavior by Udoka, and this is why it was a violation of the Celtics code of conduct. Now, the executives thought it was consensual, but when the unnamed female staffer said he made unwanted comments towards her, this is what led the team to have an investigation. So I should have read that part first, but there you go. So they thought it was consensual. Once she made those comments that way, this was not wanted at all. That's what led them to have an investigation that probably started in July, and we're finding about it now. But I just want to say, and again, I don't want to come off like I'm some sexist pig or something like that, because that's what a lot of women do. Like, as soon as you say this statement I'm about to make, a lot of people think that you're being rude. You don't care about women. It's just this whole agenda narrative that gets pushed by not every woman, by some women out there, because you're not immediately agreeing with everything that's happened. Everyone just looks at you as some type of misogynistic, sexist person, because basically what I'm about to say is this. Because once this news came out that he did this, there's women out there, and I wrote this down in my tablet, that's making this about sexism and victim blaming. And I just want to say right now, just stop, yo. It is so annoying when people try to change the narrative of every single news story that comes out revolving a man and a woman. I'm not saying there's not no men out there that are disgusting and just really inappropriate and really don't deserve to be punished and in trouble for that shit. They do. But dude, there's sometimes you just got to sit back and let the facts come out first before we just hear, the rumor said this and this said this, and immediately go after the man like, yo, this is 100% true. Again, I'm not calling the woman a liar. We don't know what the hell happened, though. We weren't in her shoes. We weren't in his shoes. The one person you absolutely can blame the situation, because you can't blame the unnamed female staffer on the Celtics organization. You cannot blame her. You can't blame her. That's 100%. You cannot blame her. If it was consensual, great. Obviously, it's wrong anyway because Udoka cheated, but we're gonna get on that one in a second. But it was consensual, great. If she's saying it was not, then again, I won't blame her if that's her words, because I'm not going to come out and say, oh no, she's lying, she's just trying to put Udoka down. No, we don't know the whole story. So at this point, it's just he said, she said, and just let the facts come out, man. You cannot, because as soon as this shit came out, women just started listening to, there's women on Twitter that's listening to these idiots, these men out there that don't give a fuck about nothing, who sit there and be like, oh no, she wanted it. Oh no, it was consensual. She's lying. Stop listening to your Twitter timeline of people you don't even know. Everyone on Twitter thinks they're a fucking expert when it comes to this stuff. Soon as this news come out, everyone immediately blames, or no, not everyone, I'm sorry. People with half a brain will sit there and start making assumptions and accusing women, accusing a man, and just, can we just let the facts come out first? Can we come out first, man? Now, Udoka did come out and did release an apology to the organization and say for his behavior. So I don't know. Obviously, I think because a lot of people thought maybe that was him saying I apologize for my behavior and embarrassing the Celtics organization. Some people thought that was his way of confessing to the whole thing. I think it's more him just saying, and it's more of a PR statement anyway. But I feel like he came out and said that because it was embarrassing that this news came out that he was having an alleged affair with another woman in the Celtics organization. I don't know if that was him saying, "Oh, look, guys, I completely did this, everything she said." But again, let's just stop that, man. There was a situation on First Take, on ESPN First Take, where Stephen A. Smith literally called out Malika Andrews, who I'm a fan of, Malika Andrews, on who I believe does NBA Countdown, I believe, on ESPN. It was one of those. Because Malika Andrews came on Stephen A.'s First Things First show, First Take show, and immediately said, that Stephen A. was making comments. This is her words. Malika Andrews said Stephen A. was making comments that he was blaming the woman and blaming the woman in the Celtics organization, blaming other women in the Celtics organization, seemed like he was coming to the defense of Ime Udoka. And when you go back and watch the clip in the full video, you realize that that's not what Stephen A. is doing. Stephen A. could be a very controversial and annoying person at times. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not a huge fan of Stephen A., but I don't like that right then and there is like I see the problem. I'm not saying Malika Andrews is like I said, I love Malika Andrews, but I think she's in the way for that because that's what it seems like it's getting towards. Like you can't get mad at Stephen A. for getting upset at her, or any man getting upset at a woman at her saying, "Yo, y'all gotta stop trying to make it like all the men here are defending Udoka or putting words in our mouth." That's not what any of us is saying. I'm just saying let the facts come out first. I'm not calling her a liar. I'm not calling him a liar. But like I said, if you want to put any blame right off the bat, and I put it in my tablet here, is, dude, you definitely, if that is a policy you broke, you deserve to be in trouble for it. But you, in a way of embarrassing the organization by letting this affair or whatever happen in the first place. We can talk about that. Like, dude, you shouldn't have cheated on your wife or your girl in the first place. But let's just wait till all this comes out first before we immediately assume that he did any wrongdoing. But I also, like I said, also believe you should not be pointing a finger and saying, "Oh my goodness, this woman is lying on him." We don't know the facts. People like turning everything into a sexist conversation, or victim blaming conversation. Dude, it could just be as simple as that he broke their code of conduct regarding maybe having relationships in a Celtics organization. That's literally all it could have been. There's just nothing. That could have just been it. The Celtics probably just don't allow that in their work place. You probably can't have relationships with other female staff members in your thing. I don't know. I know I'm rambling, but that's all I got because it's just we don't know. It's just I think the Celtics maybe could have handled this in-house first before the news got out that they was going to suspend him. Before they decided to suspend him and get all the facts out first, because it seems like every day we're hearing new things about what really happened between him and this woman. But again, no one knows for sure. I'm moving on past this because I literally am tired to talk about this. Because again, there's nothing else really to talk about. Like I said, I know I'm rambling. I'm just giving my 2 cents, man. I don't think you should be blaming a woman. I just think also when it comes to Udoka, let's just wait for all the facts to come out. Like I said, he did accept his. I think he did accept the suspension. I don't think he's going to appeal it. But I don't know. It's just, I don't know, man. It's crazy. Maybe after I get off this and I'm done recording, maybe I'll see something else that proved he did do it. For what I've seen so far, there was nothing that came out and said that it was a sexual harassment, anything like that, or we don't know. Let's just let the news play out first. Jesus. I will say too, this is probably one of my worst starting recordings ever. I will say though, I do appreciate the Celtics. Brad Stevens is just in particular who did come out and when they did a press conference and did protect their female staffers, because like I said, there's idiots out there on Twitter that is completely shitting on female staff, people on Twitter who is assuming and trying to accuse every, Celtics or woman in the organization like they're doing this and no, man. Like I appreciate the Celtics do coming out and saying, "Listen, man, we're going to protect these women. Fuck all this Twitter bullshit, these accusations, these assumptions. We're going to look after the people, the women in our organization." So I did appreciate Brad Stevens and the Celtics saying that. But I'm going to move on, man, because again, this shit is insane. Pelicans extend C.J. McCollum. The New Orleans Pelicans agreed to a 2-year, $64 million extension that keeps the shooting guard on the team through the 2025-26 season. People that didn't know, shooting guard C.J. McCollum was traded midseason from the Blazers to the Pelicans to end up helping the Pelicans make the playoffs as an 8th seed in the Western Conference, averaging 24 points on 49% field goal shooting. So I just off the bat, on paper, I like this Pelicans team. Dude, when you talk about Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, Herbert Jones, C.J. McCollum, I do believe the Pelicans do have a good team on paper. I'm not saying they're going to come out the West, or I still believe that's Golden State's conference to lose at this time, at least on paper. But I do think the Pelicans could definitely be better than an 8th seed this year. Like I said, they got a good young core. Excuse me. Again, you got the leadership in the veteran in C.J. McCollum, who has playoff experience playing with Damian Lillard and the Blazers back years ago and stuff. Zion Williamson is a star if he could just stay healthy. Brandon Ingram has become a star, and Herbert Jones is a young, good asset to have on your team. So this team, on paper, those Pelicans is basically in the upward trajectory, I would say, man. So hopefully, again, if these guys stay healthy and stuff, I do believe that the Pelicans could definitely be a good team this year in the West. Last thing, you guys, in the NBA, Andre Iguodala returning to the Warriors. He did announce on his podcast that he is re-signing with the Golden State Warriors, but he also said this will be his final season. So, former Finals MVP Andre Iguodala, I love Andre Iguodala. Like I said, it is nice. So he will have kind of like a farewell tour. Definitely throughout the 82-game season. So it's going to be fun to see, man. You usually like seeing these farewell tours for players that have been playing for a very long time. And Andre Iguodala, he's just a good player to have on your team. Great defensive player, leader, all that stuff, man. So yeah, it is going to be sad to see when he actually retires from the NBA. But like I said, he is coming back. He announced on this podcast one more season. It will be with the Golden State Warriors, who he has won NBA championship with, or 2, I should say, actually. On to the NFL, starting here with the Thursday night football game that happened a couple days ago. Cleveland Browns beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 29-17. Week 3 kicked off on Thursday, as always, with AFC North Division rivals Cleveland Browns versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Both teams came into the game 1-1. Running back Nick Chubb for the Browns ran for 113 yards and a touchdown, while Amari Cooper, wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns, caught 7 passes for 101 yards and a touchdown. The Pittsburgh Steelers, even though they were up in the game 14-13 at half or something like that, but after that, they're basically in the second half, their offensive struggles came out to light again with quarterback Mitchell Trubisky. Now, the Browns are now moving up to 2-1. The Steelers, after starting out 1-0 in the season after having an impressive win against the Cincinnati Bengals, I believe that was on the road. They have lost 2 straight, one to New England a week ago, and now this week against the Cleveland Browns, and now so they're 1-2. I know for a lot of Steelers fans, it's not the panic button just yet. The AFC North kind of seems wide open with the Bengals struggling. Cleveland's 2-1. Pittsburgh, I think, like I said, is 1-2, and then you have Baltimore, who is 1-1 at this point. And there's other games we'll play today, Sunday. But yeah, I don't know, man. Again, I'm as an Eagles fan, I'm used to a lot of Eagles fans, panicking and saying, "Yo, man, after like this quarterback struggles for 2-3 games, we got to immediately, bring in the other quarterback." I'm used to hearing that. I'm starting to hear those rumblings from some Steelers fans. My dad's Steelers fan. I haven't heard him really say anything. I don't know much about my girlfriend Taraya. She really because again, for me, what I mean by because she's a Steelers fan, but she's like not going to sit there and like, well, we need to bench him and stuff. I don't know, but I've heard from other Steelers fans on Twitter like I agree. I think the Steelers need to make the switch and bring in Kenny Pickett as their quarterback, their rookie quarterback who needs to start, man. Because I've just never been a believer in Mitchell Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky. I don't say Mitchell Trubisky, but in Trubisky, basically. I've never been a believer in him as far as a starting quarterback, maybe a backup quarterback. And I know his time in the Chicago Bears, because that was the previous team he started when he got drafted by. That organization is a mess at times as well. So a lot of people say, well, maybe it's not all Trubisky's fault. But And don't get me wrong, the Pittsburgh Steelers have other problems too. T.J. Watt is their best defensive line player. He's hurt out for a good amount of weeks. Their O line is horrible. They don't block well when it comes to the running game or passing game. But I just think Trubisky is not the guy that's going to take you anywhere, because quarterback is the most important position that you could definitely have on the team, definitely regarding an offense. So I just don't. I believe he just put him as a backup and bring Kenny in and let him and see what he can do, because no one's looking at the Steelers as a team that's going to contend this year anyway. So at least if you're going to struggle or out there, at least let to see what your quarterback, while you're rebuilding, you're trying to move forward, see what you have with your rookie quarterback. Like, let's see what Kenny can do. He looked nice in the preseason, but I understand that's just preseason. But I'm just saying, give him a chance. Now, Mike Tomlin, the Steelers head coach, did come out and say that they're not making a quarterback change. There's no quarterback controversy. He immediately did that, because the reporters and the beat writers are going to ask those questions right off the bat as soon as the game ends. Like, do you have any thought of changing quarterback? No. And a lot of times coaches are not going to say that until they pull the rug under you, and all of a sudden this quarterback is going to start for the next game, and even though a lot of people kind of seen it coming. So I don't know when they're going to do it. My Eagles play the Steelers, I believe. I don't know if it's week 6, week 7. I know it's October 30th. We play the Steelers. So I believe by that time, I'm just taking a guess here. I don't know for sure, but I'm going to predict by that time when my Eagles do face Pittsburgh, Kenny Pickett will be their quarterback going into that game. I'm serious. I don't know. I just don't trust Trubisky. That's all I'm going to say. Moving on, you guys, here on Jack of All Plays, episode 4, NFL edition, NFL news of the week. Dan Snyder might be forced out. Washington Commanders owner Dan Snyder might be forced out. Reports come out that multiple owners around the NFL think there is a chance they can get Washington Commanders owner Dan Snyder to sell the team or just straight up remove him. They believe this because of what happened to Phoenix Suns governor Robert Sarver when he only got 1 year and a fine suspension due to an NBA investigation. Remember last week on Jack of All Plays episode 3, I talked about the Robert Sarver investigation, where it came out that he was being inappropriate, appropriate conduct, code of violations, all that, those words again, that he was doing to people he worked with, particularly women, particularly women in the organization of the Phoenix Suns. So because of that, pressure kind of mounted on Sarver, and because NBA ended up only giving, like I talked about last week, which is still stupid that they did this. They only gave him a 1-year suspension and a $10 million fine. And after he got that, players like LeBron James, Chris Paul, a lot of players spoke out. Hell, not just players, former players, or current players, but former players, media members around the world. A lot of people thought that was just kind of like a slap on the wrist. Like, how do you give a guy with that much? Like, I read to y'all last week a ton of shit that he did, and there was some stuff that I found out later on that he did. Robert Sarver, I'm talking about the Phoenix Suns guy, Robert Sarver. The fact that he kind of got like a slap on the wrist for a year and a $10 million fine did not make any sense to. It just didn't make any sense regarding all the shit that the NBA found out in their investigation against him. But like I said, once LeBron James, Chris Paul, and other people spoke out, it did get report that Robert Sarver is now trying to sell the team because of all the pressure. It's people are not going to stop going on his head about this until him or the NBA finds some way to basically just get rid of him. So Robert Sarver, probably not wanting to deal with all that, decided to just sell the team and try and kind of, I guess, finding a buyer in that case. Sorry, I know I'm rambling again. Then the NFL investigation resulted in NFL giving Washington, this is for the Washington Commanders, a $10 million fine due to unprofessional manners that happened, particularly towards women in their organization. Again, I don't know what the hell is going on with I do know what's going on. These freaking owners, these GMs, these higher up dudes in these organizations, NBA, NFL, whatever league you like to watch, it's always just somebody who's just disgusting and just really just acts improper towards the women in their organization. I don't understand. It's just disgusting fucking dudes and them sit in those positions of power, man. It doesn't make any sense. That it seems like, trust me, I'm pretty sure this isn't the first time. There's pretty sure throughout history that we haven't even heard about that there's owners, GMs, governors of teams that are just absolutely doing the most against these women that work for them, and any position of, you know what I mean? It makes no sense, dude. It's disgusting and stupid. So to me, right off the bat, and I saw this comment too on people making comments the same. I feel the same way I do. This shouldn't be something that's being considered as far as what the owners around NFL trying to push Dan Snyder out. It should have been done. Period. Now, some people believe that the reason why it has not been done yet is because they believe Dan Snyder might have some dirt on a lot of these other other multiple owners around the league. You know what I mean? So maybe they're afraid that if they could try to get maybe other players involved and other people involved to do what NBA players did against Robert Sarver, maybe they can get maybe NFL players, whoever can get Dan Snyder, the Washington Commanders owner, to do the same as far as selling the team. Because if the owner just comes straight out and try to vote on getting him out of here, who knows what Dan Snyder might expose? You know what I mean? And it's wrong to think like that. And instead of him just going out quietly and with some dignity and say, you know what? I did act inappropriate. This is wrong. And I'm just going to, leave my position and let this team move forward. But that's not how it's going to happen. He's obviously not looking to leave. He's still being talked about as far as why is he still here and everything like that. And who knows? Like I said, he might have some dirt. I'm just speculating. He might have some dirt on other NFL officials, NFL official, owners and GMs around the league. You know what I mean? Because again, listen, there's 32 teams in the NFL. You can probably make a safety bet that half of them owners and governors and GMs of those teams are probably doing some really slimy shit. Basically, some really disgusting shit against the people that they work for them. I'm pretty sure you could take a healthy bet, dude. So maybe they don't want their dirty laundry being aired out either. And maybe that's why some owners might sit back and like, well, wait a minute. I'm not going to push Dan Snyder out because I don't want him telling my secrets. It's so disgusting what probably goes on in those higher up offices, man, when you think about behind the scenes, It's just, how hard is it just to run a safe environment for a workplace? I don't understand how hard that is. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. But moving on, you guys. Get the last news here of NFL. For the NFL, Taylor Warren is out for the season. Out for the season. Excuse me. Taylor Warren is out for the season. Tennessee Titans lose their starting tackle for the year due to knee injury after the game last week against the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills played the Tennessee Titans and whooped their ass on Monday. But during that game, they did lose. The Titans did lose one of their best offensive linemen for the season. The 31-year-old is a three-time Pro Bowler and probably will be a significant blow for the Titans, losing him for the year. And the Titans are already struggling and being 0-2. I don't even have the Titans making the playoffs this year. But who knows? Because how terrible the AFC South is with the Colts laying an egg and being one of the most disappointing teams in the league right now. And then the Jacksonville Jaguars, who it's all up in the air. I don't have any faith in Houston. But yeah, I don't know. So it's not really over for the Titans, but they have definitely been what I thought they would be, and that is not good right now, 0-2. But it is sad to hear another injury for any player in NFL, and the fact he's out for the season, it's fucked up. I hate injuries. Moving on, you guys, College football. College football week 4 kicked off yesterday. College football had some few upsets and close calls this week as I go over them right now. Number 7, USC. The Trojans barely held on in a road game against their Pac-12 conference opponent, Oregon State, 17-14. USC beats, like I said, held on the road in Oregon State against Oregon State, 17-14, scoring a 21-yard touchdown pass with 1:19 in the fourth quarter. Number 6, Oklahoma lost at home, and there was the upset right there. Number 6, Oklahoma lost at home 41-34 to an unranked Kansas State Wildcat team. Before I move any further, again, this is why I don't really care about these. I'm saying I don't care about these other teams. I love that football's back and everything, but when you see teams like Oklahoma and the teams from the Pac-12, the Big 12, and all ranked high, that's why, bro, I don't care. Again, I'm a person that likes different teams being on top and the underdog. But this is why the arguments never stick, because you have teams like Oklahoma losing. Bro, you lose at home and give up 41 points to an unranked Kansas State Wildcat team. Like, and I'm not no disrespect towards Kansas State. Like, I don't know how their team is. Maybe their team is great. They're just not ranked. But It's ridiculous, bro. You're losing at home, giving up that many damn points. Like, it's just go away, Oklahoma. I hope they drop them all the way to 20 or something. Like, it's really for me the top 10 at this point. Really, it's just like the top 10 should feature freaking Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and then we can go from there. I mean, maybe there's some other teams I forgot about, but that's disgusting. Yeah. Oh, number 6 Oklahoma loses at home, like I said, 41-34 to an unranked Kansas State team. As far as the SEC, a conference game, a good one that did happen. Number 23 Texas A&M won a close one against number 10 Arkansas State, 23-21, and which I believe will end up being a key SEC conference game. Like I said, number 23 Texas A&M won a close one against number 10 Arkansas. I think this is actually a huge, just not a huge win for Texas A&M regarding a conference win. I think they're building up some momentum after I think they coming off a win last week beating Miami, I believe. So Texas A&M is starting to get a little going. But as far as Arkansas being number 10, that'll probably drop them maybe like 15-16. This was their first loss of the season. And you get, regardless if even though somebody say it's early or whatever, that's a key loss because in the SEC, every game matters. Every freaking game matters, especially if you're ranked in the top 10 in Arkansas's case. So this will probably drop them, I'm guessing, maybe to 15 or 16. Yeah, so we're going from there. But like I said, number 22 Texas A&M did win a close one. And the final one is just go over number 5. Clemson needed 2 overtimes to put away number 21 Wake Forest 51-45. I am not a believer in Clemson like I have been in previous years. It was a great game. I did watch though. Wake Forest, the way they lost was just so so annoying. The quarterback threw an interception. It's a terrible interception. Pass he decided to throw. It was a double coverage in the end zone. I think it was on fourth down and 5, 4th and 6. It was just a terrible throw after the quarterback for the for Wake Forest has been playing great all day. I think he had like 5, 6 touchdown throws. The point is though, yeah, like number 5 Clemson did hold on. Like I said, it took 2 overtimes to put away Wake Forest on the road, 51-45. So that was it, you guys, as far as college football. Some scores going on around the week. Again, we're still it's still not super early, but still early as far as where we are, where the rankings really start to matter or anything like that. Like I said, conference play is starting for some teams. So, again, this is college football. You guys, the last thing I'm going to go over here is, of course, with football, basketball. We're on to now baseball. Major League Baseball news of the week. Albert Pujols. Excuse me, I can't talk today. Albert Pujols hit his 700th home run this week. It was a great moment for the future Hall of Famer as he hit his 700th home run against the Los Angeles Dodgers. This makes him the 4th player in Major League Baseball history to hit 700 career home runs. It was a great moment because, you had Dodgers fans, Cardinals fans in the stands, and people around the world. It don't matter what sport, whatever you were doing, was loving this for him. It was really dope moment when he hit it. When I saw the 700th one, it was dope because you could see before he hit it, Dodgers fans was up. And Dodgers fans, it's just being a fan of the sport in general. But, in the end, Dodgers fans wouldn't have nothing to worry about because the Cardinals did go on to win that game, but the Dodgers already clinched it with their 100 wins or whatever by now. But it was a great moment because the Dodgers fans and Cardinals fans were standing up in Dodger Stadium and they were holding their phones up. And like they were just getting ready to watch this moment and watch, history. And that's regardless of whatever sport you're into, regardless if you're not even a big baseball fan or maybe a big Pujols fan. It's just great to see records be broken, dude. It don't matter who the player that does it. Or just not just records be broken, but just literally watch history happen in sports, man. So no matter what's going on around the world, it is really, really great to see, fans of sports where you just sit there and you're like, damn, man, where were you that day that this happened? When this player, this male or this female broke this record or joined a league, a club of people that have done this already. And again, for how many baseball players it's been throughout history, since the history of time, and the fact that Al Pujols is one of 3 other players that have done this, it is amazing. 700 home runs, man, like in career home runs, is insane. So like I say, he's the 4th player in Major League Baseball history to hit 700 career home runs. Al Pujols did say that, he was grateful for this moment, but he did also come out and say it was never about the home runs, about winning a championship, which again is another great thing you want to hear from a leader, from a guy like that. Yes, he's going to cherish this moment. Yes, he's going to tip his hat off to everybody and, and appreciate all the love he's getting. But he also said, man, listen, I won a championship, and the St. Louis Cardinals are in a good position to do that this year. Like I said, especially when I go over the standings. So, again, if my team doesn't win it, I would not be mad at all if the St. Louis Cardinals win it and Albert Pujols goes off, into the rainbow of his career with a ring and breaking and getting that record of 700 home runs. Kyle Wright of the Atlanta Braves, starting pitcher. He now has 20 wins. He's the first pitcher to 20 wins this season, and the first Atlanta Braves and he was the first Atlanta Braves 20-win pitcher since 2003. So since 2003, he joins. Since it's been 2003, since the Atlanta Braves had a pitcher get a total of 20 wins in a single season. But with 20 wins and 171 strikeouts, I think Kyle Wright should definitely be talked about the Cy Young. He may not win it, but he definitely should be in the talks for it again. Because 20 wins, dude, listen, regardless of what you want to say, 20 wins, I think that's pretty amazing for a pitcher to get, man. I'm not saying it's unheard of. There's a ton of pitchers that have done it, but 20 wins in a season is great. Some pitchers don't even get to 10. So I think it's impressive. So the last thing you guys go off here before I wrap this up is I'm going to go over, like always, the Major League Baseball standings. So I got my phone here. So again, if you've been watching the episodes, you can, and I appreciate the support I've been getting with these Jack of All Plays episodes. If you've been watching the episodes, either some of these standings have changed or they're just probably the same, and you're like, oh, okay, Sean, you're basically repeating yourself. Over in the American League, number one seed be right now the Houston Astros with 100 wins and 53 losses. I believe Houston clinched a playoff spot. They was already going to clinch, but they clinched the playoff spot, I believe, a couple days ago. I think it was definitely this week. Or they already did, one way or another. The second seed right now will be the New York Yankees in the American League. They did clinch yesterday when they got 93 wins and 58 losses, riding a 6-game winning streak. Everyone right now, regardless if you're a Yankees fan or not, are just waiting for, I think Aaron Judge had hit his 61st home run. I could be off maybe by one or two, but a lot of people have been like, during the even college football game yesterday, while the Boston Red Sox was playing the New York Yankees, there was literally moments literally during college football games where they was doing a split screen where like a double header thing where they were showing football games on one side and then when Aaron Judge was coming up to at bat for the Yankees, it was like you was getting a chance to just see if the history was going to happen with him hitting his 61st, I want to say 61st home run in the single season. But like I said, the Yankees are the second. In the third spot, you got the Cleveland Cavaliers at 85 wins and 67 losses. They're also riding a 6-game winning streak. Perfect time to get on these winning streaks. I believe there's like 11, 12 games left in the season. So it's the perfect time to start getting hot and securing your playoff spot. Over in American Wild Card, you have the Toronto Blue Jays. My goodness, I cannot talk. They have 85 wins and 67 losses. And then the others, the second wild card spot, you have Tampa Bay Rays with 84 wins and 68 losses. And the Seattle Mariners, who are right now holding the third wild card spot with 83 wins and 68 losses. The teams right now that's trying to catch them is Baltimore, who has 79 wins and 72 losses. And the Chicago White Sox, who has 76 wins and 76 losses. The bad thing for the White Sox is they are on a 5-game losing streak, which drops them to 7.5 games out of the final wild card spot. So right now, I mean, there's other teams. There's Minnesota and Boston as well that have been officially eliminated. But I don't think Minnesota or Boston is catching these teams, the Toronto Blue Jays, Tampa Bay Rays, or Seattle Mariners. I think the one team to watch is Baltimore. Baltimore is the one team that really has, to me, the biggest. I mean, so do the White Sox, but the White Sox, I don't know. The point is, I think Baltimore has the best chance, I would say. Maybe, there you go. I'll say they have the highest chance to catch either Toronto, Tampa Bay, or Seattle for that final wild card spot. But there you go, guys. That's as far as the American League standings. Over in the National League standings, like I said, you have the Los Angeles Dodgers. They have 105 wins. Nothing else really to be said. Like I said this before, the Dodgers are just fucking nice. There's really nothing else really to say there. Second spot, you have the New York Mets, who has 96 wins and 57 losses. And then there is the St. Louis Cardinals, who would hold the 3 spot, and because they lead their division right now, 89 wins and 64 losses. So there's Albert Pujols and them dudes right there. As far as the National League wild card, you have the Atlanta Braves, who already clinched the wild card spot, if anything, clinched the playoff spot with a 94 wins and 58 losses. Still, regardless, even though they are in the wild card, the Atlanta Braves still has a chance. I think they're a game and a half back of the New York Mets in the NL East. So that division is still close. It's not like the Mets have wrapped up that division and they're just waiting for the playoffs. They still have to be careful because the Braves, last year champs, they're still on their heels to get that divisional that top division spot. Then behind the Atlanta Braves in a wild card, you have the San Diego Padres, who has 84 wins and 68 losses. And then the final wild card spot, holding the final wild card spot, is the Philadelphia Phillies with 83 wins and 68 losses. And the teams catching them after them, that's outside looking in right now, is the Milwaukee Brewers with 82 wins and 70 losses. That gives them a game and a half back of the Phillies. And the San Francisco Giants with 74 wins and 78 losses, which is making them 9.5 games out. So they're not officially eliminated, but those are the two teams that can realistically catch up to the San Diego Padres and the Phillies regarding the NL wildcard spot. And you can't really catch up to the Mets, to the Braves in this case. There's not enough games for either of those teams to catch up to Atlanta Braves. So Atlanta Braves either will have the division lead and will be out of the wild card, or they're, like I said, they'll just be leading the wild card spot because of what their record is right now. Yeah. Again, the Phillies right now is like the most one that's in trouble, again, because of the fact they hold the final wild card spot. But the Milwaukee Brewers do have, like I said, they're only a game and a half back. So the Phillies definitely got to be careful there. But that's it, you guys. Again, I want to say appreciate the support. Again, no matter how small, how big, I will constantly keep doing these podcast episodes every Sunday. Again, this was episode 4, Jack of All Plays. I am out. Oh, yeah. Go Eagles. We play Carson Wentz today. We're 2-0. Hopefully we're 3-0. Not being a good move by the end of the day. But whatever. But I'm out, you guys. Peace.